Okay. And featuring Living Atlanta. Hey, this is Steph Palermo, and it's the Just Steph Show. Everybody has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. We are second lifers. We're empty nesters, newly single, and those starting over age 3. Your healthy, happy, hip years are just beginning. The bat phone is connected today, so give me a buzz. And at 404-355-8699, tell me what's going on in your life. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your traditions and also any questions you might have for our esteemed guests. I have Chris Fitzpatrick here, the director of the Ketamine Wellness Center, and Mike Reis. You're right in there with her.
I am. I'm actually, though, the CEO and founder of Decision Point Wellness.
There you go. All right. So, Chris, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
And where everybody's a little discombobulated from it's Atlanta traffic, right? You're all crazy. So, anyway, all right. So, I'm excited to have you all today. We're going to talk some serious stuff. We're going to talk about some innovative and new treatments that they're using ketamine to help with depression, and we're going to talk about seasonal depression, and we're going to talk about how that affects relationships, and also what you all have going on at the Decision WellPoint, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have you all here, and of course we have Living Atlanta for where to be this weekend. All right, so for all my dear guy friends, we're going to talk football. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't believe we're winding down. Are you guys football fans?
Somewhat.
I know.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
I do know that.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay, so there's not too much going on in the college scene because the bowl games will be coming up. But anyway, for tonight, the Rams are at the Seahawks. Now on Sunday, here's our big teams for my girl Laura. The Saints are at the Cardinals at 4, and also at 4, the 49ers are here in town for the Falcons. And my boyfriend Tom Brady is going to Denver this weekend, 4:30, Denver Broncos, Patriots Broncos. So that's what's going on with football this weekend. But pretty much we get all the bowl games coming up, so that's exciting.
I've got
A lot going on.
I've got all my face paint ready.
Oh, are you ready? Who's your team?
More college.
Yeah, I know. Who's your team? Who's your college team?
University of Texas.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what about,
Well, mine's Georgia Tech.
there you go.
Imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just there for the party, so I don't care. But Alabama's going to be big. They're coming back to the Georgia Dome, huh? That's big. Yeah, that's exciting. All right. So, what did you guys do this weekend? Anything fun?
It's been just a week of hecticness, shopping. Your basic end of the year before Christmas when you think you've got it all planned, and trying to burn the candle at both ends. But it's been good. The older I get, I find that it's a life balance thing, and I'm getting over a cold, so
Right.
that was a big part of it. I think everybody here is touching a little bit of everybody.
Well, the life is crazy enough, and then throwing Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, and then if you have, like, I was traveling, I went to Boston this past weekend. So yeah, and but I actually. That's us. I'm ready. But yeah, I actually went to Davio's right outside of Boston. I saw my good friend Steve DiFilippo, and because he has Davio's down here, so he's a friend of mine, and I went to a few places up there. I actually went to a restaurant in East Boston where Guy Fieri from the Food Network went there with the mayor of Boston. And the food was phenomenal. It was so good. I think my pants are tight. Like I was just there for the weekend, and I blew up like a balloon. So yeah, it was fun. So anyway, it was a great weekend for me. All right, so you know what? I want to get into what we actually want to talk about is the seasonal affective disorder, because I think, like, for me, I can feel the difference in my energy in the winter, and then as soon as the weather starts getting better. However, I know for me at Christmas time, as much as I'm happy and I love the holidays, I was trying to decorate my tree the other night, and I just kept sitting down and crying because I'm not home. I'm not with my family. I'm not, I can never recreate Christmas just like the Italians at home. So I miss it so terribly, and I have my friends calling me like, "Oh, I saw so-and-so," and I go, "All right, I've been crying this river for 25 years because I've been gone from Boston, and it just doesn't it doesn't change for me." So I understand when people have, that's sort of situational. It's not chronic, but there are people that really suffer with depression, especially this time of year. So can you tell us a little bit about season? It's called seasonal affective
right.
disorder, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
A large part of it, and I'll share just a personal story that it's not just the people that suffer from chronic depression. Personally me, the other day, add in illness, the time change was a big one. And it, the weather gets colder, you get a little bit stressed, you got some finance issues coming up, throw in the personal issues that come up in everybody's life. The other day, it was, it comes out of nowhere sometimes, like you and your Christmas tree. I needed milk, and I was coming back from the gym, and I literally pulled up to a convenience store, and it took all I took just to go and get a half a gallon of milk.
Right.
Yeah, and I just sat there, and so, it's sneaky. Sometimes it's sneaky, sometimes you see it coming, and sometimes you don't know where it comes from. But, it tends to affect everybody in different ways, and it comes out in different ways. It's like a little balloon that if you don't address it,
Right.
sometimes it comes out sideways. And that's, a lot of times I have an 11-year-old son, and that's what I'll tell him sometimes. You need to talk about it, and if you don't know that that's an issue, it comes out sideways sometimes.
And I think the thing to understand too is that it's normal. I mean, it's going to
Right.
happen.
Okay, so
and
there's no stigma
so-
attached with depression
That's right.
and
This is
emotional
not.
issues and mental illness, okay?
Right.
I mean, I think that's a problem. I think people, I just want to state this up front. If somebody in your world has cancer or kidney problems or diabetes, you treat it and it's not a big deal.
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but you know what I mean. It's not, there's no stigma attached to it. You just treat it and you deal with whatever you got going on. Somebody has depression, bipolar, whatever else they're dealing with, and there's a sort of, it's still the stigma, there's still a stigma attached to being in therapy and all the things that you need to do to take care of yourself, when really it's just you want a good quality of life, whether that's physical well-being or emotional well-being.
Right. And if it were any other kind of illness, you wouldn't hesitate, right, to go to the doctor to get
That's
the
right.
help that you need. So I think it's really important for people to realize that, it doesn't make you any less of a person, any less character. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you're not strong enough mentally. You're just, it's a bad problem. You're not a bad person.
Right, absolutely. And I think, for me, I've sort of identified that my anger comes out in depression.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm angry at a situation that happened to me when I was married, I would just go to bed because I was so mad at the situation. I didn't know what to do. And I just went to bed.
It's very common.
So, and if people who know me were like, "What? Her? She went to bed?" I mean, that's, I did it. And so I think people, so depression is, it happens in different ways. Like you said, sideways, it comes out sideways, or it's displaced or whatever. And especially this time of year, and I've seen it in social media with people who are, they're having to cope with either a loss, whether it's a divorce, a death, not being around family like me. And, and you can imagine me, I'm Italian, my family's always together. I was just there last weekend, and I laughed for the entire weekend, cried laughing, pain, stomach, the whole bit. And then, and then all of a sudden, I'm trying to decorate a Christmas tree all by myself. So I think people have to, and you have to be sensitive to other people when they're going through it.
Absolutely. And, again, it manifests itself different ways for different people. Some people overeat when they're depressed. Some people undereat. They tend to lose weight, or they isolate, and these are the kind of things that you need to look out for, especially with your loved ones.
Right. And I think, then this self-medication,
100%.
Absolutely.
drinking, and then the drinking exacerbates the depression. That was me the other night. I was drinking wine and crying.
Mm-hmm.
Decorating my Christmas tree. I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture.
Well, alcohol is a depressant. So
Right. So
it doesn't help.
you need to be aware of that, and I think that people, especially now, you're going out to parties and drinking, and it can be, it can be hard.
Mhm.
So, especially with, if you're alone or you have anything else going on. So,
Well, and that's part of the thing is that if it's already sitting there, the depression, life is still going to show up. So
Right.
to begin to address it and take away that stigma and to figure out, is there depression, is there an addiction issue, all those will be exacerbated over the holidays due to stress factors. And that's part of the thing is to take away the stigma. And, they say that a lot of relationships based probably, it's like marriages, any partner relationship, it's based probably about 42% don't last because it's not so much the depression or the addiction issues, it's the fact that they're not addressed. And if you just let them go and lie dormant, so talking, like what we're doing here.
right.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
Talking about it. And I think getting help, find a good therapist, and we're going to find out more about, what you all do in a little
Sure.
bit. But you and I had spoken on the phone, Chris, and we talked about when is the hardest time, when you get hit the hardest. And I think a lot of us, like I call January the dark time. It's like the dark time. It's, all the fun and the hoopla is over. The decorations are put away. The weather is cold and it's darkest. It's very dark. Gets dark very early. It's gray out there, and there's not as much going on. You're not outside running or getting that fresh air and that vitamin D. And I think that January can be a very dark time.
Oh, there's been major studies done. There's actually, they've done sort of a unofficial study about the most depressing day of the year,
Mhm.
and it falls somewhere between January 15th and January 20th, and that's when you get that first credit card statement.
Right.
I like to tell people I liken it almost to the excitement of a wedding, right? You have that wedding, you have the pre-planning, and you do all that, and all of a sudden you get married, everybody goes home, everybody leaves, and you're like, oh my gosh, I spent all this money, and now I'm married, yay, but there's
Well,
that,
the party's
there's
over.
Yeah, the party's over, and that's
The
what
party's
happens
over.
in January, and not only in January, you got the bills, life showing up, the fun's over, I drank too much, I ate too much, I need to get in the gym.
Right.
The resentments of the family. There's a lot of issues.
Well, then you've also taken on the New Year's resolutions as well, and you start
Absolutely.
realizing around the middle of the month
You
that,
can't
wow,
wrap it up.
I'm not going to be able to do this. The
Well-
diet's not going so well.
Well,
The,
you know what? You get on a diet, and then it's Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I totally, I totally get it because I just always found it to be the dark time. And then as soon as the good thing about Atlanta is we'll get some nice days in there, and you'll see people walk in the park and stuff like that. I'm like, and then I could actually feel my energy in the gym go up. Like I can feel it. But there are people that really won't get out of bed, or they really suffer from the seasonal affective disorder.
Right.
So do you have any, suggestions for that, for the seasonal affective disorder? What can one do to sort of at least make it through if there's, at least survive if you're not going to thrive?
I think that, well, one of the things that's most important is just awareness, understanding that this is going to happen. You've come through the holidays, you were going from party to party, there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of unmet expectations. So awareness is very, very key in understanding that this is going to happen. One thing we know about depression, especially if it's not severe, is that it will pass, that you can get through it, that it is normal for that to happen.
Right.
One of the tips is if you haven't taken down your decorations and you've left it up, because a lot of people will leave it up, through the first of the year,
Right.
is to pack it up, is to literally put that away and start moving forward. The other thing is,
So you're saying that, as
if
soon
you've
as
left
you
up your
can,
Christmas decorations, it's time to
take them
take
down
them
because,
down and pack it up.
and start fresh.
Correct, that's right.
Okay.
Because
Have
a lot of people
fresh
leave them
start
up
for
because
January.
they want the holidays to last as long as possible.
That is so weird. I'm so done. Like, I'm so done.
Very
Jeez.
good.
That's hilarious.
I think the other thing is stay connected, because during this time of the year, we tend to isolate. It's cold outside. It could be snowing, even though that's rare here in Atlanta. And we need to stay connected with other people.
Right.
That's really key.
Well, you can tell that when people isolate, and I know that with myself, and I've seen that even with friends. you know, they're like, okay, I need my space, I need time, I need to, you know, sort of, and that's okay for a minute. You know, I don't mean a little minute, but, you know, it's okay for a minute, but you need to sort of get back into the, like, I know that, like, especially even with dealing with weight, I want to get, if I don't get dressed and put on pants with a waist and go out, I will, you know, I could gain weight. I can continue to gain. So, and that can be depressing for me. So I have to get dressed and look good and feel good and make sure that I put on my makeup and all of that, because it helps me to just continue to feel better.
To keep moving forward.
Right.
The other thing is to make plans, you know?
Like what kind of plans?
Oh, I mean, it could be, you know, just activities that you enjoy, fun things that you like to do.
Right.
Again, if we're not proactive about it, we're just going to let that go and we're just going to isolate. So make plans with friends.
Right.
Do something you enjoy doing.
That's it. That's it. We're coming out.
Go see a movie. Go to a play. Whatever.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and-
Go dancing.
Yeah, and play music. Play music. You know,
Music
and
is music is a lift.
I will say music. You will, anytime you come to my house or my car, I will always have music playing. And you know, try not to listen to sad songs is what I also find, because I dial into those sometimes. And I live by a philosophy also. You know, usually if I don't want to do something, I probably better do it. You know, it's those little things like, you know, even if I go to Starbucks, right? I won't go through the drive-through. I get out and I walk into Starbucks, because you'll pass somebody, you'll say, hey, you know, wow, how was your Christmas? That small interaction.
Right.
Even staying in your car is a form of isolation. So just that little bit of getting out. Tell somebody they look nice, because what happens is when you put it out there, it comes back to you.
Right. It's the law of attraction. Once
Yeah.
you put out, you know, whatever you put out is what you get back.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. So I'd like to talk about how depression affects relationships. So we have dating advice for second lifers, and this is the Just Steph rules of dating. All right, so there must be some statistics on, or I would venture to guess that more people break up based upon emotional or mental illness than physical illness. Yeah, I think people will stick it out, but I think people could run away, and I think I don't know how one would do that. Like I don't know if I was in a new relationship, how long I would stick out something. You know, if I had somebody that was dealing with stuff, although I'm very loyal and I've seen myself stay longer than I should have when people were dealing with their personal issues. However, you know, I just don't, it's difficult. It's hard to deal with somebody who's up and down, who's a roller coaster. What do you do?
That's a tough one, Steph. And, you know, and the older we get, the less we can put up with sometimes. You know, and the thing that as you're sitting here talking, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, if they had cancer and you met them, it'd probably be a no issue. Like, well, you know, I love this person. They make me happy when I'm with them. I can deal with the cancer. 6 months into a relationship, if they are the roller coaster, you know, I personally know somebody that got into a relationship and the first 4 months were fantastic. It was the light of his life. They traveled across the world, and he, you know, she had major bipolar issues. The longer they were in that relationship,
it started to come out.
Yeah, it came out, and you know, he actually was the one that ended up calling it off. As much as it broke his heart, you know, and you know, I also, you know, as much as you can put into it and understand it, and you need to try to. Also, there's something to self-preservation. Also, you can't go down a road of, you know, you can put in as much as you can and address it and try to understand it, you know, but along those lines, at some point it also does become a point of self-preservation once you've tried everything. But again, you're dealing with, you know, if it was cancer, it'd be a different story. But when it's a mental health issue, you know, and I'm talking about a new relationship, not somebody that's been in your life, you know, for the entire span.
25 years. Yeah. You're married for 25 years, and you know.
So this is all based on.
It's a little different when it's physical, because you can actually see it and you understand that if it's physical, if you do this, you have a good chance it's going to go away.
Right.
And you can deal with it and you can treat it. On the other hand, when it's a mental health issue, you're not sure if it's their personality or if you're just getting to know them or if, this is what you're in for the rest of your life, and you don't know how to deal with it. I mean, I think, again, lack of awareness of mental health issues and what you can do about them, I think is a big deal. And that will harm the relationship.
I would be very careful about, like, even with myself, I know in new relationships, I'm not going to go and tell somebody, that something is depressing me. I'm not. Now, it's a different story. Now I have somebody that I'm hanging out with in Boston, and I was talking to him 2 nights ago, and I'm like, I'm crying a river over my Christmas tree, but he gets it because I'm not, he's Italian, and he gets the whole thing, so it's fine. And we're laughing about it. And the other thing is I think when you have in a relationship, if somebody is actively, it's, when you're sick, if you have diabetes or whatever, you have a cold, you treat it. Somebody who has emotional, mental issues, if they are not getting help, I'm sorry, you need to walk. If you say, hey, get some help, go to the therapist, get on some medication, do whatever you need to do to get help and work through it, we can work through it together. But if they're not getting help, then
you've got to have somebody, you'll help those who help themselves.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, you, as much as you want a person to be better, and that's where we come from, it ends up a lot of times what we see, and again, I take this away not from a new relationship standpoint, but what we deal with addiction issues and depression, it's a family disease, and it becomes so codependent. If you're not careful in a new relationship, because as exciting as that new relationship can be, you may fall into a codependent sort of situation.
Right.
Where their happiness just completely makes you happy.
And you think you can fix it.
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
how many times do you get into
Yeah.
a new relationship and go, well, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
I know
Next time,
here
Right.
she had
yeah.
this problem, but
Right.
you know what? That wasn't with me. And so I can do something about that and make it better.
Well, I know that I was with somebody last year who was dealing with issues stemming from the divorce, and there was some real big red flags for me, and I said, well, I'm going to be a good girlfriend and stick by and stand by this because he's going to work through these issues. He's going to get help. He's going to do this, whatever. I wasn't going to try to fix him. I couldn't fix him. I was smart enough and had been through enough of my own therapy to know that I'm not fixing this person, but you know what? I'm going to stand by as he works through his issues. And, and then it didn't work. He, in the end, that wasn't good enough for him, whatever. But what I'm saying is you have to know when if they're not getting help, you have to know when these are life issues that if they need to fix it.
People will change when they're ready is part of it.
Right, they have to do it.
They have to want to get better, and that's
Right.
And in a relationship, especially a new one, you have to set healthy boundaries.
Right.
Yeah,
And what
big-
is acceptable
big,
behavior and what you're willing to do about it to make changes.
Right. So, I mean, I just think that I know now from that experience, if I was with somebody that I felt, I would be like, okay, you know what, fix your stuff and call me when you get it together.
Well, that's also a tough call, though. Because,
I would do
yeah.
that because I'm just saying for me, because I saw some stuff that was in that particular situation. Now it's one thing if something comes up and it's sort of whatever, but I would stand by because I'm very loyal. But I think when it's some real life issues that are affecting the relationship, if you need to fix them, if you're not going to go get help and fix them, then you need to fix it and I need to walk away because I can't fix you. I'm not going to be your happiness.
And going back to sort of, at this point in life for people, if they are getting into a relationship, it's also, to understand, a big thing about life, just even friends, people in general, is understanding where people come from.
Right.
And if you know where someone's coming from and you're willing to go out and learn the tools and they know the tools, then you can kind of grow together. It's not going to happen for everybody, but either probably, he's seen people, that have gone through a major life change in recovery that have blossomed. They've had their ups and downs with relationships. You're going to get everything. And that's the thing. It's what happens with these new relationships during the holidays, during depression. The ups are up at 100.
Right.
And the downs are down, at negative 100.
Right.
So the balance with throw in all this other stuff that we're talking about, new relationships, holidays, everything is going to be exacerbated. But the biggest thing is, to understand where people are coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and and we're here to offer different options to help people understand.
Right, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I think the one last thing I want to end with here is that the thing that worries me the most is somebody who buries their stuff, because it comes out somewhere.
It will come out sideways.
It will.
Always will
It
come
will
out
come
sideways.
out. You bury your stuff, and I know that even, I had a bad breakup in May. I did not want to. At that point, I was smart enough to know that I can't be dating anybody. I needed to heal, and I was going to do what I needed to do, because if I didn't, next year it's going to come out somewhere else.
Well, we were.
Well, you're healthy. I mean, you dealt with it in a healthy way. And most people that get out of a relationship think that time is against them, especially if they're older, and they tend to jump in too quickly.
Yeah. No.
Instead of time being their friend, they look at it as time is my enemy, and I need to go from one relationship to the next.
Right. Well, you got to keep company or whatever. You're lonely or whatever reasons.
Sure.
I was like, no way. I'm like, I can't even cook a meal right now. I'm in such a place, and
Yeah, we were just having a conversation in the car about trauma in life, people's lives,
Right.
and how it affects anything, any action, any
Right.
behavior that you have. And to bury that trauma, a trauma being whatever the case may
Right.
be. It doesn't have to be
It
anything.
doesn't have to be major.
Yeah, it can be
Right.
a very bad breakup where you
your
put
dog died.
Yeah,
Oh,
trauma.
sure.
Every
Your
trauma
car
is
breaks
different for
down.
every
You
person.
lose. You have a
I have to move.
whatever. Somebody
New job.
moved.
But you, as a person, you need to look into that and say, why is this affecting me the way it is? Why does this strike, and understand the behaviors. Why do I act like this when this happens? And the minute you start to question that, that's in it. And then talk to somebody, a friend. You could talk to the girl checking you out at Target.
Right.
I've had, but it's, but to first address it with yourself and to acknowledge it is the biggest step to building that next healthy. You've got to be good on the inside before you can
Right.
be good for someone else.
Absolutely.
Is the point
Put
of
on
it.
your own oxygen mask before you help your
Absolutely.
neighbor.
Someone else,
That's
right.
what you have to do. All right, so we're going to take a short break, but always take a risk, be vulnerable, share your heart, and love always. We are taking a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about Decision Well Point and what you all have got going on there, because I know it's going to be great. You have a lot of good things happening, and this one is for the birthday peeps, Rick Patterson, Cody Flanagan, and Emily Hendricks. Happy birthday, people. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh my gosh, so you can't hear
I
anything.
can't hear. I felt like I was in
He
a
can't hear
barrel.
anything
Yeah,
in
I
here.
can't hear you.
Oh, on your
Yeah,
right ear?
so,
I
No,
can't
on
hear
any-
He can't hear
like
anything.
I'm,
All right,
Can't
so
even
we're
hear
having
myself.
some technical issues. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Vinny. Hi, Paul. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Trish.
We're done in both of them.
Let's see. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Patricia.
nothing on this
And
side.
Kristen, hi.
Yeah.
Jill Brandon, hi. Hi, Alex. Hi, Chrissy Caleris, hi. Are you watching me from Boston, honey? Hi, Jennifer, my girl.
What about the other?
Hi, Diane, my cousin Diane Toscano.
So we're both on the same one?
You're both on the same splitter.
Hi, Dave
I felt
Groveman.
like I was in a barrel. And usually, because I've done quite a few of these, and
Right.
usually you can hear really.
Hi,
Right.
Alex. How are you, honey?
Right.
Merry Christmas,
So
everybody.
it's hard to.
It's
Yeah.
totally, you can't hear anything.
I can see if we have another.
I love
in there.
you. Merry Christmas. I got my favorite Christmas songs. Next week I have my absolute favorite Christmas
Oh,
songs.
we're on the splitter, that's why. So we're good.
Yeah, you're on a splitter. Sorry. I'm going in and out too on mine, but whatever. So,
Do you want me to see if I can grab another one for you? A little more comfortable?
you want
we
to
can get
you
through
can
it.
switch.
Okay.
Want to switch?
Do you want to?
No, I'm good.
Sure.
You want to switch?
Yeah, because I can't hear myself at
I've
all.
changed.
I feel like
Can
I
I?
Change my brain.
can't even tell if I'm.
Oh, this is loud. Lower it. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
That's perfect. I'm good.
This one's working in both ears.
All right,
That's the
so-
difference.
Your volume is this one here in number 3. So just let me know if it's too loud. My computer.
Hi, Ann. Who's so nice?
It's good.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I have my shopping almost all done. I finally decorated. As you can
It's
tell.
I think it's Facebook Live.
It is
Oh,
Facebook.
is it?
Yeah. And
So fix your hair.
I'm going to Boston for Christmas Day. Yay! I can't wait. See all my friends. can't wait. My family. Yeah. I get my fix. I get my fix, my family fix, and all of that. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So, okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I did 100.
She did.
I drove 100
Oh
miles
my
an
God,
hour.
I'm sorry.
Right.
No.
No.
I
It was
and the
fine.
way he was awesome navigating. He's like,
I'm sorry. I was like, okay, like the show must go on.
And I used my
Yeah.
turn signal the whole time.
So Shirley says hi, Chris. So, okay. When you were adjusting my volume.
I know, you were like
and I was
this.
like, please stop. I was like, please
I
stop.
can't really multitask, and then so I lost my train of thought.
And I'm going, I'm like, no, please stop it, because I couldn't think. I was like, she's blowing my brains out.
I usually blow people's minds.
Yeah, jeez.
Not
So,
their brains.
during living in Atlanta, I will ask you what you got going on this weekend. If you choose, you can say whatever you want.
Oh gosh.
So,
What did I think about? Oh.
are you going to Jingle Mingle?
I don't know yet.
I'm going. I never go, but I'm going. I'm going to Jingle Mingle. Thank you for sharing my video, people. If you share it, I love you. I'll give you a big hug at Jingle Mingle. 20 seconds. We got 20 seconds, and then we're back on. Oh, it's decision point.
Yes. I didn't want to point that out.
All right. So you know what? We're back, and I said the wrong name because I was all messed up. I was all a little discombobulated today. It's Decision Point Wellness Center,
That's correct.
where you're working with ketamine
Mm-hmm.
to help with depression, and you're seeing unbelievable results.
That's correct.
So tell us about your center, like what you have going on there, all aspects of the center, and then I really would like to talk about the ketamine because I know it's a little, it's new, pretty new.
It's
It's
fairly-
new for this treatment.
It's
is
an
what
It's
old
new
drug.
for what we're
Right.
using it for.
Right.
It's
Correct.
a very
Right.
old drug it's what they call reconstituted form. It's a reconstituted drug for a new form of treatment. Yeah, repurposed is the word I'm looking for.
repurposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people do that all the time.
Mhm.
They use stuff for different things that then, so yeah, and you get good results.
It's well, I'll let Mike lead and then
Yeah,
I'll
tell
let the ketamine.
us
Tell you a little
about,
bit about Decision Point Wellness Center. We have been in business for about a year. We're located in Johns Creek, and we're primarily an intensive outpatient program for people that suffer from substance abuse as well as mental health disorders, also known as a co-occurring disorder. And we have a different kind of program. We call it the Decision Point Difference, but we are not your typical outpatient rehab program for addiction and mental health issues. And we've been very, very successful over the last year. Our relapse rate is very low compared to the industry standards, and we're really excited because we're getting ready to expand, and we're developing a primary focus around mental health and mental health issues. And that's where we're excited to partner with Georgia Ketamine, Chris and her mom, Dr. Nick, and we're just really excited about what that's going to be able to do, not only for our clients but for the community in general.
so why do you think that your relapse rate is very low? What are you doing differently?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm in recovery myself, have been for 7 years. I waited until I was a little bit older to finally get into recovery. I come from a corporate background.
Recovery from?
Alcohol, codependency, a number of other things in and out, but primarily alcohol.
Okay.
But I was what was considered a high-functioning addict, if you will.
Yeah.
And so, I finally got sober, went back to school, and I decided I wanted to do something to give back. So I created and founded Decision Point Wellness Center with the idea that we need to do recovery different. And what makes it different is that within our facility, we have a 2,000 square foot area called the Legacy Club. And the Legacy Club is designed for people to connect because we believe that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection with other people that you can do life with and that can help lift you up. And so what makes it different is that we connect people with other people in recovery. We also treat people like family.
I want to go back to what you
Sure.
said. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, but it's connection, because addiction is lonely,
It is.
and you're alone and you're isolated.
And you think you're alone,
You think
but
you're
you
alone.
are isolated.
Right.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
isolate
And what we show them
physically and
is-
emotionally.
Right, that there are a lot of people just like you. We get a lot of professionals, we get a lot of executives, we've had pastors, we've had doctors, I mean, you name it, we've had them in our treatment center, as well as their families. But we approach it from a wellness standpoint. So we want to address not just the physical, but also, the mental as well as
Right.
the spiritual aspect.
Right.
But where we're different is that, we were very individualized when it comes to treatment plans, but
Mhm.
we're also innovative. We try things that other people don't try. When you come to our treatment center, you only pay once. That's it. You're a client for life.
Right.
And if you relapse and you come back to us, we don't charge you again. We just continue to work with you
Right.
to make your life better.
I like that. Now, does insurance cover any of this?
Yeah, we're actually an out-of-network provider, but at this
Mhm.
point, we're getting credentialed for the top insurance companies around,
I like
and that's
that.
part of our expansion as well. Plus, we also do some partial scholarships
Right.
for people that can't afford that kind
Right.
of care.
Right. And so they would, sort of apply for that.
Yeah,
And so, but you're treating addictions, depression, all other.
well, that's what we're really excited about in this, expansion and the mental health aspect is that we're going to be able to treat PTSD, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder. We're gonna have a neurotherapist.
Mhm.
We're gonna do biofeedback. We're gonna do acupuncture, and these are things that not only are they good for people in recovery, but it could be recovery from anything.
Right.
A divorce. It can be strictly mental health. It doesn't have to be substance abuse related. So we're putting that all under one roof.
So almost like a total wellness.
That's exactly.
Well,
Very
I mean,
much.
let me ask you this: do you do like this is just off the top of my head, will you do like an IV cocktail of like vitamins and stuff like that, or do you do that kind of stuff?
We have the capability to do that.
Because the vitamins
That's-
are big.
They are big.
We've
They are big,
entertained it.
and that's probably something we'll grow into.
Right.
Right now, our focus, especially with the anesthetic ketamine, is depression, PTSD,
Right.
anxiety. However, what we've also discovered is that it's great for minimizing or even eliminating the withdrawal symptoms from opiates and opioids.
Oh, so they're not doing methadone
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
because the
Which-
methadone makes them nuts too.
Well,
they don't.
it's very
ever-
painful to detox from both methadone and Suboxone. However, it's our contention that the number one reason that people that use heroin or painkillers, they don't get into treatment is the detox is so painful.
Right.
And we believe that through, we're going to call it actually IAT, and it's infusion-assisted therapy. That's what it's going to be called. But we want to get more people into treatment because, as you know and as you've heard, it's an epidemic and people are dying every day from that.
Well, I think too. I mean, but people don't realize is that heroin is rampant. If people, I mean,
It is.
high-end people are, they were doing it up in Alpharetta. Remember a couple of years ago they had that big thing. The moms would.
If you think you haven't met somebody that hasn't ever tried heroin, you're not on this planet. The most unassuming people have tried heroin, and
Scary.
And where we are, it's called the Triangle
Uh-huh.
up in our area.
Right.
It's
We're
higher.
right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because it's the high-end moms driving the kids around high.
Mhm.
I mean, it's crazy.
And they're all, to your point, they're all ages. I've attended 2 funerals in the last month.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough because, again, they want to get into treatment. It's not a question of affording it. They just can't tolerate the detox process. So we're really excited to introduce this. We'll probably get a lot of kickback, in terms of, why haven't you been doing this before? And ketamine can be known as something else.
Right.
And this is for medical purposes and the way it's administered and everything else. It's very safe and non-addictive. And we've done clinical trials and it works. It's amazing.
Yeah, so tell me about this, because I did a little research, and from what I understand, it's a little controversial in terms of, and I'm sure you have your doses and what's because I want to preface this. I guess I'm sort of skipping ahead. I know even with my kids, if the kids that are being prescribed Adderall, that's legal cocaine. So we need to know that there's drugs that are out there that are street drugs, or that kids are using or people are using to abuse, that do have they're beneficial. In a medical, arena where it's all, been supervised by a doctor.
Once this issue of ketamine and party drug is addressed, I always like to lead with that anything can be abused.
Yeah.
Anything.
Everything.
If there's a way for people to feel good or feel different, they're going to find a way to use it to their advantage.
Right.
Ketamine is an anesthetic. It's a very old drug. It's a very safe drug. It's been around for 50 years.
Right.
It's usually used in 3 situations. Hospitals, vets use it.
I did know that about in the horse world.
Yeah, and then it's used it's known in the party world as a street drug. They call it Special K. About 10 years ago, I like to tell people, as I say, it was a repurposed drug. When they were researching Viagra and they were going through their clinical trials, it was originally blood pressure medication. So when I say Viagra, they got Viagra through studies through blood pressure medication. They thought they were going in for blood pressure medication, and lo and behold, this great side effect, right? So you get Viagra. That's how you yeah.
What are you thinking
Did you
of,
say
Sky?
it depends on
How's
who you
your blood
talk
pressure
to?
over there?
How about I'm coming out? Right, there you go, right?
This is when I need a good song intro.
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh.
Everything's coming up roses. Yeah.
I will survive. There you go. Well, that's funny because, it's like repurposing.
Well, it's just, there's even, I heard this morning, there's cholesterol drugs now that help with different Alzheimer's. Now you hear there's always going to be little offshoots after a drug is administered to anybody for where there's interesting side effects.
Right.
Ketamine actually, not only does it help alleviate what we call, the biggest thing with ketamine, it works on a completely different mechanism than your regular antidepressants, which are called SSRIs. But the ketamine actually works on an epigenetic level, and they believe that depression rests in the limbic system, and it helps to lower some of the inflammation in the limbic system.
Right.
So it doesn't work like any regular SSRIs, and so it helps with depression, it helps with pain management, and again, it helps with the withdrawal symptoms from opioids, because what it's doing, ketamine actually helps to stimulate nerve growth, and that's the difference. You can take a slide of a patient pre-ketamine, and if you look at that slide under a microscope, you can see one nodule. And after you take a slide of that same patient after ketamine's been administered, you can actually see 2 and 3 nodules. What that shows, that's nerve growth, and you're building those bridges of nerve growth.
Right.
That's why it helps with the pain management. That's why it helps with the depression, and it hits the same receptors to help with the withdrawals from opiates. So you get the whole. And the thing is, ketamine, and I like to tell people this, it's not addictive, but it can be abused. And the definition of addiction is that once it's entered into the body, if you go through withdrawal symptoms after you stop taking that drug, that's the definition of addiction.
Right.
You can stop taking ketamine and there's no withdrawals.
Right.
So it's not an addictive drug. It's a completely safe
And the
drug.
amount that's used is so minimal.
Exactly.
And so how long does it take to, so say I'm depressed and I come in and you say this would be a good treatment for you, and you use an IV, or is it an injection?
Well, we do both on certain occasions. Primarily, we have one patient that we use. It's called IM. She's in a wheelchair though, so she's a special case. So
Right.
I always like to do. There's always an option if IVs. We have a problem, we can't get her vein. So
Okay.
So there are other workarounds. I like to kind of put that out there too. But we use the IV method because it's actually the most effective.
Right.
The dosage that we use is so low. It's so.
And how quickly does it
low.
work? Like, how quickly do you feel better if you're depressed?
If you're having suicidal ideologies, I would say within 24 to 36 hours. And normally what we like to do, we follow what's called the ECT method, and this is for depression. I like to separate the withdrawals from the depression. With the withdrawals, we usually go 7 to 10 days treatments. With the ketamine infusion for depression, we usually we get a referral from a psychiatrist.
Right.
We don't take walk-ins, so you can't come in off the street saying, "Oh, I'm sad," whatever. We need to see what medication you've been on.
Right.
Because again, it's treatment-resistant depression where you've tried 2 or more classes of antidepressants,
Right.
and you're just not,
So it isn't for everybody.
It's not.
It's not for everybody, and everybody doesn't need it, and it doesn't work if you don't need it. So that's another thing. If you're just depressed because you drank too much, and what's called alcohol, you got alcohol depression, and life shows up. It doesn't work if you don't need it.
Right.
So that's the beauty of this drug. It's
So
not
this
a-
is for chronic depression.
Yes
that
and
has
no.
been recent.
Yeah, it's because like there's functioning alcoholics. I have functioning depressant patients. They get up, they go to work, they've got family, they come home, they still have that hopelessness at night.
Right.
They still struggle to get to the store, to go shopping, but they still do it. So it's not for everybody, but it is for everybody. It's just that
Okay.
there needs to be a little bit of a history and a track record to see that you've tried other things before you want to come in and just say, I need an infusion.
And I could see somebody saying, I'm not depressed because they are doing everything they need to be doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they would just deny it. And, I mean, that's what I would do.
Well,
Right.
and then it comes out sideways.
Right.
Yeah.
And it shows up a lot of times in substance
And
Yeah.
then, yeah. And,
Right.
and then, something comes up and you're like, then all of a sudden you just blow up and you can't go to a wedding that you're supposed to go to or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
I could totally see that. So we, okay, so how do we get, how do we find you?
Well, right now, our clinic is up in Gainesville.
Mhm.
So we're in the heart of Gainesville, right over by, everybody kind of knows Green Street. So we're over off Thompson Bridge Road, 1370 Thompson Bridge Road. We're on the web, very, very easy, georgiaketamine.com.
Right. And you're in Johns Creek.
We're in Johns Creek, right.
So how are you
Well,
two merging together?
I'll let Mike speak to that.
Yeah, we're actually, we're under construction now.
And you're gonna be moving?
Expanding.
Expanding.
Okay.
So it'll be an additional location, but that construction should be complete by the end of January, and you can find us at www.dpwellnesscenter.com. And that's the best way to kind of see what we're all about. But we're located in Johns Creek. We're off of Jones Bridge and State Bridge Road. Very easy access, very discreet for those that's important to.
Right. And so, and I guess if you missed any of that, private message me on Facebook and we'll get you in touch, with Chris and Mike. So if you feel like you need help, don't sweep it under the rug. Private message me and we'll get you in touch.
And the other thing I want to throw out there for your listeners would be that we do free evaluations. So we're not going to charge you $100 or $200 to come in and just meet with us. You'll sit down, talk to us. It's just a conversation. We will do an evaluation to see where you're at with both substance abuse as well as mental health.
And quickly, you wrote a book.
Yeah, called Recovery of a Lifetime, and that's my own personal journey. With my son, we wrote it together, and he played in Super Bowl 44 with the New Orleans Saints. I know, boo, right? But he went to Georgia Tech, played for the Saints, and he recovered the onside kick. A historic play in that
I
game.
was telling my friend in
Yeah.
Boston about that, and he goes, "Yeah, I know that game." And he actually told me about it.
Yeah.
The game.
So it was it was that recovery and what it symbolized, and his life and the way he led it off the field that inspired my recovery, and for me to do what I'm doing today.
Well,
Aw.
thank you so much. We're gonna get into living in Atlanta in a minute, but will you come back?
Absolutely.
Oh, would love to.
Okay, great.
Love to.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Living Atlanta. This one is for Daria Cardonia O'Connor, Patrick Perez, and Curtis Grotman. Thanks for liking my JS and Living Atlanta page. Okay.
And here, this is for you.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I actually have 2 copies of my book, and I would love to give it. So will you stick around for a minute, and then we'll finish up, and then we'll go take some pictures out in the lobby.
That'd be great.
On the lobby. We'll post those, and I'll send you the MP3 of this.
Okay.
And then, but everything will be posted on Facebook.
Oh, you made this very easy. I hope. Oh wait, are we still?
Oh, hi, cousin Cheryl.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you, honey? Hi, Brian. Hi, Kenny. Kenny, I'll see you Sunday, baby.
My clock says 7. It says 11:51. It's 9 minutes.
It's quite the little leprechaun outfit.
Do you want me to go with him?
Is he a Scottish
No, he
warrior?
did this to me last time. He cut me short. I know, but see, my clock says 11:52.
Yeah, we finished the show at 58, so that way we can get the next show ready to start.
Okay, honey.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Do you want to come back a little bit short from the song so you have more time?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Do you want me in there?
Hmm?
Do you want me in there with him?
If you want to go over there, yeah. I think you want to.
It's up to you.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you wanted to know where to go this weekend, and you've been waiting for Living Atlanta. All right, so listen, before you go out this weekend, make sure you make a plan, drink responsibly, drive responsibly, get Uber, call a designated driver, Lyft, call a friend, call a cab, stay where you are. Do not drink and drive. This is the holidays, people. Don't do it. All right, so you guys have any big plans for the weekend?
Not really.
Okay, you just
I
hang
got a
in.
party tonight.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, I'm actually going to hang in tonight and rap. But Friday, I've got a surprise party Friday night that I'm going to, so I can't say where I'm going. And then Saturday, I am going to Jingle Mingle, and they have a
That's gonna be
pre-party
big.
for that. And then
Yeah.
Sunday, I'm going to go to Huey Louie's with Kenny Minette for the Falcons meetup. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so Deb Bowman, she's got some stuff going on. She is at the Regent Cocktail Club every Wednesday from 7 to 10.
If you haven't
I
seen
have
her.
not been there yet
Well,
because,
she
well, it's
is-
crazy. So, yeah. But
She
she's the
told me I
best.
dance like a white girl.
Well, sorry, but I'm sorry.
There's a reason.
I
yeah,
do.
I'm sorry. And she's
Like
going to be
Elaine.
on the 23rd. She's going to be at the Savvy Wine Room, and then Whiskey Mistress on the 24th. DJ Vanessa Hunley is tonight at G's, and Sunday Fun Day Karaoke. Johnny Perazzo every night at Whiskey Mistress, and there's always music every night at Dixie Tavern, City Winery, Venkman's, and Smithsville Bar. And if you want to know all the details of that, you can just get onto my website, Living Atlanta. It's the page, Living Atlanta page, and you can subscribe for 99 cents a month, and you will have everything that's going on in the city, in and around the city, for 99 cents a month, plus you'll get a free download of my book. So, okay, now, what else is going on? We have 3 minutes. So tonight we have the Swan Coach House in Buckhead has the annual holiday tea. Lure Meridian at Perimeter has Jingle and Jazz tonight. Red Sky Tapas and Bar has my good friend Angela Rain and Friends Holiday Party, and it's an acoustics show. At the Buckhead Theater is the 13th annual Mark Carroll and Friends Toy Drive fundraiser. City Winery has bring your favorite holiday sweater and join the winery at their holiday party to enjoy a walk-around tasting of their champagne and sparkling wine from around the world. Mad Life Stage and Studios has the Journey Tribute Band. Venkman's tomorrow night is showing the free Elf music. Terminal West has Atlanta Collective, and it's James Brown Funky Christmas. The Atlanta Symphony Orchestra has a very merry holiday pops. Atlanta Symphony Orchestra is hosting the annual holiday extravaganza. Tongue and Groove Atlanta is at the Holiday Mingle. This is all Friday night. Now, Friday night at Dixie Tavern is Electric Ave. Go see my friend Kevin. He's awesome. Pure Tequila and Alpharetta has the annual Naughty or Nice Christmas party. And Saturday morning, I will be at the free cardio blast workout at Body Design Personal Training, and then Jingle Mingle. Chibo and Bevy has a cookie making party. And all of the details here are on my Living Atlanta Facebook page and on my website, juststeph.com. So looking ahead, we have the Yacht Rock Review at Venkman's on Christmas Eve, and the Feast of the Seven Fishes at Davio's. And on the 31st, DJ Andre Perry is at 3 Sheets. So you have to, if you want all the details and you want to know more, you need to go to my juststeph.com/Living Atlanta, and you can subscribe and get all the details. I have the shout out to my Boston birthdays, Mary Alpers, Mello, Jody, Beth, and Tula Karayan. Happy birthday, people. Next week I have Hal from Hal's is going to be here with Rusty. Yeah, I got Hal's. And then 29th, I got Kristen. My girl is taking over for me while I'm out of town. And we have Sig Scott and John Hyatt. So check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube. I'm there.
I don't think
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
I've never crossed paths with somebody that's so dialed in.
Yeah, that's it. So, know I love you all. Wishing you love, balance, and peace. Ciao, ciao, baby.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Come back. All right. It's too quick.
Wow.
You rushed me.
Kidding about that being so.
Yes, it's too quick.